up, dude?
What up, my guy? Happy fucking Monday. And to everybody listening, happy fucking Friday, because you're not listening to this live.
Losers. Just kidding. We love you guys.
It's fine. Thank you for tuning back in. Big fucking surprise. We're going to switch up the structure of this again because we're the best. Hey, man. And not man. Hey, person that's listening. Welcome to I'm Trying, Dude, where we like to go deep but keep it light. And if for those of you that have been following along our progress and process along season 1 and season 2, we've been in and out. We're trying to figure this out. And we like to keep you guys involved. And frankly, if you have opinions about it, please let us know. But it felt a little bit too structured. It didn't feel enough like just Dan and I chatting, which was the whole, not the whole, but a large part of the inspiration of why we were doing this, especially together. So we're going to keep it a bit looser again, talk more about our lives, and see what wisdom we can come up with a bit more on the spot. So today's episode, as Dan suggested, we'll call the interesting one. And that's
already stressed.
Literally immediately setting the bar probably too high. But it's been
it'll be interesting in the sense that we don't even know what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. And I think I honestly like this might sound like a bad idea, but knowing us, we're probably better off.
I think I hope
we hope that this is true. We hope that this is true.
Hope this is true.
It'll be good. It'll be fun. Hey, man.
What's up, dude?
Been an eventful few days that add up to a whole week, hasn't it been?
I think so. I mean, what have you been up to? Like I
mean, look at these gorgeous flowers that are sitting between here. The red roses for everybody listening. If you're listening, what are you doing? You're missing out on all the fun stuff. The fun stuff's just looking at us.
Video's way more cool.
Way cool.
Way more fun. Which is insane that you could actually watch videos on Spotify now.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's crazy. But red roses because Valentine's Day, and we did something very cute.
We did the old double date.
I was gonna let them know that we, spent Valentine's Day together.
And like build up. Fuck.
It's okay.
Damn it.
You ruined the moment. I was gonna try.
We can cut it out and do it.
No. It's fine. We're an authentic podcast.
Damn it, guys. I'm sorry.
We did double date, which is really fucking. I don't think I've ever double dated on Valentine's Day.
Neither have I. That was the first time for me ever, I think, doing that.
Yeah.
It was fun.
You were my first, dude.
Yeah.
And
you were my
one
first.
thing, finally. No, really, really cool. Highly recommend for anybody that wants to do something a little bit different. I think sometimes there's so much pressure. We talked a lot about the pressures of Valentine's Day when you're by yourself.
Yeah.
But also a lot of the pressures of Valentine's Day, I think, are so overextended. Like, you have to go out, you have to have a good time. Like, no, like, you love your partner, your love is unique. Like, you should go out and do what you guys want to do, and that doesn't have to fit with any rules of like what Valentine's Day should look like. Right?
Absolutely.
But red roses, I got those. I still got red roses.
The dinner was nice.
Dinner was nice.
It was good. Did a little gardening beforehand, which is great. I feel like food always hits a little harder.
During. Yeah, it was nice.
During?
No. And during. Not enduring.
But you're like, yeah, I endured that dinner, dude. Yeah, it was.
No, my God, the food was fucking phenomenal.
Food was great.
Shushu?
Shushu was phenomenal.
Yeah, that's what it was called.
You learned a little more about my past.
I did. Dude, you were wild. And we already talked about this. We're not going to have you retell that tale today. But I will say that you are significantly more rowdy.
Yeah.
Than you let on.
I used to be a really rowdy guy. Guy.
Active, we're not talking I made out with 3 dudes in one night. We're talking rowdy that's a Tuesday. We're talking like breaking the law.
Oh yeah,
and this is strictly for entertainment value,
absolutely.
right?
It's all a prank. But I did a lot of questionable stuff, dude.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
Just for the sake of doing it.
Which is even wilder to me. Like if you had look, okay. Let's talk about rules.
All right.
Right? A little bit because I'm fucking German, right?
Okay.
And we follow the rules so closely. Remember when you were in overall, I think in Europe that's more of a thing than in America. I was like, land of the free, you can't rule me. When people will call you out for crossing a red light.
Oh yeah, we talked about this. Yes,
that's a German thing for sure. Like policing your fellow citizens based on the law and the rules is very normal. So growing up, right? You're not just looking out is there a cop around? You're looking, is there anybody that's seeing what I'm doing? Because people aren't fuck it, they're kids, they'll do what they want. If you're doing something shady, not necessarily even illegal, people will call the cops, people will talk to you, people will engage.
Really?
Actively. So I have spent a life learning how to follow the rules, and I think it is amazing when I see people like you or like the homie Carl or something. They're like, nah, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm gonna do what I want.
Oh, dude, I think part of it came because my parents were such like, not like helicopter parents, but like they were definitely very, like kind of like stricter and more controlling with me growing up. So I felt like any chance or opportunity that I had to like be a deviant or like do something against the rules, I was like for sure taking just for like almost the thrill of it.
That's great. I mean, it's the like textbook fucking acting out. Then.
Yeah.
Like,
but it was like I don't even think I was hanging out with like the wrong people because like the people
dude, the story you told, you were the wrong person to be hanging out with. You're the fucking instigator.
You know, that's neither here nor there. I will say though, to contrast your growing up, I think I don't know. There was just a little bit of like a little. My mom always called it like la musiquita adentro, like the music inside you. You know, she's like this person's got like the little demonic music playing inside them. I definitely.
What's it sound like? Is it a violin going real fast?
Oh, I don't even know. I think it's more like drums. Like if it was, I think it had like a little like. There's a little gremlin inside me that's playing some really heavy drums or like an electric guitar or like I don't know.
That's right. He's fucking rocking.
He's rocking out.
He's rocking out hard.
But that was like if you grew up being a rule follower, I feel like I grew up trying to break as many little rules as possible, dude. Like,
so why didn't you do this at home?
Because
like it sounds like you'd rather fuck with the cops, right?
Yeah,
than you would with your mom, and that is fucking insane to me. Like you were like no, I'd rather take you on. You don't fucking know me. You don't own me. Versus like, dude. Nah, it's mom.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I got off at like.
You got off to what? Again?
No.
Canine porn. Not again, dude. I thought we got through.
I'm supposed to tell people that. Come on, dude, chill out. What the hell? No, part of what you said is true. Like, I think it'd be worse for me to get caught by my mom than it would be to get caught by the police, for whatever reason. So I like broke the rules here and there. But like, if I got caught, like me, like losing the game was getting caught by my mom. So it was like, okay, how can I not get caught by my mom? And then that kind of evolved into like, well, if I can get away with this, like. Maybe I could do more stuff. I was just a wild child, dude. But the juxtaposition was that I did well in school.
Okay.
Like I had good friends who like did not do the stuff that I was doing, and then I had some other friends who were like, "Yeah, dude, let's go fuck shit up." You know?
Okay, and so don't tell the story, like, because I want to keep that.
For sure. We can circle back on that. I have tons of stories.
I would like to hear that story again when we have, like, a psychotherapist invited on the podcast,
yeah,
which we are planning on.
You?
And fucking gets up and leaves.
Yeah, like, oh, man, this guy needs to be institutionalized.
It is my duty to report you to the authorities. I'm like, well, no.
Well, also, like, here's the thing, is that part of what I would do, or the reason why I would do the stuff I do, it wasn't even like I love that I don't get mad, I get even. That is like, I love that mentality. I won't get mad about something that you've done. No, absolutely not. I will just fuck your shit up. And you'll have no idea it was me.
I hated growing up accidentally pissing off someone like you. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like you did something like that you didn't mean to do, or like you had a moment of weakness and you misspoke, you fucked someone over, and then immediately like the shivers rolled down your spine. You're like, fuck, I just fucked with the wrong person, because they're like, I see what you did there.
I was that dude.
And I'll be like, no, sleepless nights, fuck me.
Oh,
like,
dude, no, I was that guy who like would just be like, oh, okay, cool, like that like. You know what? Here's an example. I was actually, funny enough, I was going to bring this story onto the podcast.
The
I had
universe
no
guides
idea.
us, my friend.
Okay.
The universe guides us.
I was friends with, we had like, I'm sure you hung out with like all your friends and you go to like house parties or whatever.
Right.
There was one girl who was part of like, we had this big friend group. It was like me, all my dude friends, and then all the girls. And we all hung out at this one girl's place. And she was dating this guy who, for whatever reason, I do not, to this day, know why, fucking hated my guts, dude. Hated me so much. No idea why. Just fucking hated me.
I get it. You have that
and I was
energy.
like, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, if if you're not a friend of mine, you're like, fuck him, you know? Like, I don't get it. I don't know. So I was like kind of scared of this guy, whatever. Sorry, I'm thinking of another story. We were at a party, like at her house or whatever, like just like a chill kind of hang, and her boyfriend showed up with like a couple of his other friends, like football players. And I also played football, which again, I don't understand. Like, why you fucking? I was like, guys, we're on the same team here. We're both, sports.
We all like sport. That's because that's how that works, right?
Yeah.
Teams never fight because we all like sports.
We all like sports. We're just a bunch of guys. Yeah. You like holding the football. I like holding the football, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, it was one of those households where everyone takes their shoes off when you get in. You leave them and you go downstairs to the basement. Because everyone who was cool had a finished basement.
Yeah.
Growing up, I did not.
Okay.
So we were all chilling in the basement, and the boyfriend comes over. Whatever, they do their thing. I'm like trying to hide from this guy because it was like it's intimidating. He was like a big dude, and I was like, I know he fucking hates me. I don't want any problems. Like I'm at his girlfriend's house, and we were like, it was a group thing, so like whatever. It comes time to like leave or whatever, go back home, and I go upstairs and putting on my shoes, and I loved these shoes. Like, dude, they're my first pair of like Jordans, and like I was so into that like sneaker culture, whatever, as a kid. Like I didn't really have that many pairs, but I like wanted to have more pairs. When I finally got a pair of Jordans, I was freaking out, losing my mind. I love these sneakers. I wore them all the time. All my friends had them. And I put my foot in the sneaker, and it's like, and I'm like, what the fuck? Soaking wet. And I'm like, what, dude, what's going on? And I put my other shoe on. Like, both shoes are soaked. And I realized that someone had pissed in my sneakers.
Dude, I called that. I could have called that, and I fucking hate that so much.
And this is like, dude, the only pair of J's that I had, and like my favorite pair of shoes that I wore literally every single day. And I'm like, someone pissed in my shoes. And I was like, oh, not someone. I know who did this.
Right.
And I was like, okay, cool.
Okay.
That's how we're going to do it? Cool.
Okay.
Sick.
So you were done hiding. You're like, fuck you.
Again, this is all a prank. This is a prank.
This is not a real story.
No, in the middle of the night one night, I went to his house and I got even, dude. I didn't get mad about it. I just got even, I had a pair of shoes, he had a car. That's all I'm going to say. And I did.
You loved the shoes. He loved the car.
Yeah, he loved the car,
Fair.
and I did a lot of. I got even. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But
I'm excited for for this episode to be done so we can talk about that bit. Super cool.
Yeah.
But that's so fucked up.
But yeah,
like,
but to that point was I feel like part of it was going out and looking for the thrill of just fucking around and getting like winning one over on the police or my mom or like some, like the law or whatever, being like, oh, I got away with this. But then part of it also was like I didn't like when people did wrong to me. So I'd be like, you know what? Okay, fine. But fuck you. And stuff will just happen to you and you won't know.
So
that it's me.
You're not MLK, you're Malcolm X all the way through.
Dude, I'm so much like, yeah, definitely more Malcolm. Like I would rather fight fire with fire, but to a point. I'm not like the immediate, like if you cross me or you wrong me, like I get it. Like, but fool me twice, like it's like that whole thing.
Yeah,
where it's like I would much rather give you the benefit of the doubt.
You still feel that way up until today, you'd say?
I don't know. I don't think I have done enough stuff and been scared by almost getting caught or like, getting like super close to some sort of dramatic implication where I don't think I would go to the lengths that I used to go to. So I think now I've matured enough to where I'm like, okay, you know what? Whatever. Like the universe will sort itself out. Whatever happens to you is going to happen to you. I'm just not going to give you any more energy.
Right.
But I know before my mindset was definitely more of like okay,
engage.
If you're going to mess with me, cool. I'm going to act like it doesn't bother me and I'm going to fuck your shit up until you want to end your life because like you have no idea what's going on, Like you're like, who's doing this?
Yeah, that's wild. Okay, cool. I mean, I think quick note here.
Yeah.
I definitely think like as a kid, that's one thing, but like we should be old enough. And like the sooner you learn a lesson, the better it is that like someone's fucking with you. the easiest way to get them to stop normally is to just not give a shit and like walk the other way.
Absolutely.
Right? Like,
for sure.
Literally, like, there's nothing less enticing that if you're trying to fuck with someone, then they're like, they're like, fuck, I'm just going to stop this.
Yes.
And I know this from a very different scenario. I know this from like teasing Clara, right?
Nice.
Like, I know this from like,
Yeah.
It's so fun when she's get mad.
Oh yeah, same thing. Like I'll
as
I'll
soon
jab
as she
my
does
sister,
it,
yeah.
I'm like, this is fucking like, why am I doing this? I'm wasting my time.
It's like, this is annoying. Fine, whatever.
But that's still wild to me. Like I didn't really have. I was just a straight up victim.
Really?
Growing up, yeah, like I truly was. Like I literally
just
like
straight up victim.
No, I mean I'm like victim mentality. No, I mean we talked about this early on, but like in school, and a lot of those dudes I'm actually friends with now, but fucking kids, right?
Yeah.
But like I had this group of like 4 dudes, 5. One is like nobody knows where he is now, so like,
Okay.
hope he's good. Much love to you. I'm sure he's alive. Like that's not. I was like, I'm sure he's alive. Bro. He's just literally like is not good at social. Life.
Sure.
So it's called 4 dudes, and literally they were one day I came to school and they were just like ignoring me.
Okay.
It's just like that was the thing. Like literally my best friends and like all of them ignore. I'm like, I would never have thought like how I'm gonna pay them back or something. Like I went home, I cried. Like I was like this. You guys fucking suck.
But they're your friends.
Well, they're not.
But they were though.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's...
Like, I wasn't, like, fucking around with my friends.
Fair.
You know, like my friends were safe. And, like, to your point, like, I had friends that, like, ripped me apart. Some of my best friends made me feel so insecure. But I never was like, I'm going to go after my friends.
Nobody can actually get to you if they're not your friend, because then you're like, nah, fuck you, like, you're stupid. But, yeah, I guess I also just, I never could engage. Like, I was also, like, I was fucking, like, this, dude. I was not... I was tall, but I was Captain Gangly. Like, I fucking... No muscle, no nothing. I was a stick figure walking around. I was once in Italy. A random note. I was like 15. I went with my stepbrother, now ex-stepbrother, which is a weird term. We're walking around. We talked to these, like, we were at a camping ground. We had a camper van that we with our parents. But by the pool, we met these, like, 2 girls, and they spoke some, like, they were Italian, but they spoke English, or they were Brits. I don't fucking know. We walk, and, like, we meet up, we approach them, they say, yeah, sure, let's go out. And we're like, fuck yeah, dude, like, we got this. Like, we're actually gonna, like, make out with these girls. You know what I mean? Like, this is gonna be fucking great. So we walked to this, like, lame-ass party, right, that they had at the campground.
Sick.
And on the walk over there, which was a solid 5 minutes, about 2 minutes in, there's a silence of about 15 seconds. And 15 seconds is a crazy long time to be silent when you're 15 and just picked up 2 girls 2 minutes ago, right? This is like
you got to say something. You got to talk,
And I had nothing. He had nothing. And one of the girls goes, I feel so fat next to you. And we were like, literally him and I lock eyes. We're like, what? She's like, she looks at me like, you're such a stick. And I was like, what is happening? So for reference, like it will get called out. Like I was skinny, so I wouldn't mess with anybody because I had nothing. I wouldn't break the rules, so everybody knew I wasn't gonna like do something illegal to get back at them. I was scared of everything. Dude, I stole once.
Really?
Once in my life. Do you want to know what I stole?
What'd you steal, dude?
Magic the Gathering cards.
From where? Like a store?
Yeah.
Like a pack of cards?
Not even like an expensive pack. It was like a
€5,
not even a boot, like it was a €5 random American cards that were like hand packed and just like, it was nothing.
Why'd you steal it?
Because I fucking loved it and I didn't have the money. I didn't do it for the thrill. I hated the thrill. The thrill kept me up for days.
Oh, man.
For days. And the cards weren't even good.
Really?
There wasn't even like a sick one in there.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
See, for me, I feel like that thrill, like you said, the thrill kept you up for days, but like the thrill got me high, and I was like, God, I gotta feel that again. I need to go steal more.
That's crazy.
I went through a heavy klepto phase. Heavy klepto. I couldn't walk into a store without walking out with something, dude. And it wasn't even like I'll take whatever. I don't care. Yeah, dude. And I thought it was so cool for doing it. Thought it was so cool.
No, we definitely. Look, not caring about authority definitely was, and still is in my head, a cool thing. It's just the interpretation that kids and teenagers particularly take on to fight authority is such a vastly opposing one that like obviously I don't fuck with, right?
Absolutely.
But the base idea of like no one gets to tell me how to live my life, I think is so fucking solid and valuable, and like we should think that more.
Absolutely.
Right? Because the problem, even with better school systems than the American one, like the German one, right? The problem is it beats the fucking creativity and the individuality out of every single one of those kids. We're like, no, follow these rules. You don't do that. Do this, don't do that. Do this, don't do that. And then we spend a half a lifetime, if we're active like you and I are, to undo all those fucking like beliefs that you don't actually fuck with,
right?
Just to like abide by, you know, the social, like this balance of like, this is me and this is the social contract. Not necessarily the law, not necessarily like your parents' rules, but just a social contract. Like we live in a community with other people. We got to be respectful, mindful somehow. But generally, I'm like, you know how many times, like I have broken rules. I'll let you know. They're lighter ones. They're not laws. But some of my most precious memories, and I can't name shit off the top of my head right now, but like I it's a feeling where I'm like, every time that I've done it for a reason, it's been a great feeling, you know, like simple. Dude, this is how hard it is for me to break a rule. On my way to the subway here, right, to the PATH train at Journal Square. It's a 10-minute walk, turns into 8 minutes if you walk through a parking garage, and especially on like rainy days, it's great. You walk through this parking garage, and there's a sign up. No private property, no pedestrian through traffic.
Okay.
Like, we will sue you type shit.
Okay.
And I'm like, I did it once. I'm like, well, this is the first time, and if anybody's going to approach me, I'm just going to be like, oh, I'm just checking it out because we have a car and I might want to park it here. Like, I have to have an excuse. Like, I have to be able to talk my way out before I even get caught.
Yeah.
Out of walking through a parking garage for like 37 seconds. And I kept doing it. Was nervous the first 4 or 5 times. Mm-hmm. Until I'm like, oh, no one gives a shit. Like, nobody working at this parking garage cares about this. Who cares? The owners, because if I fall and slip and trip and hurt myself, it's on private property. They're liable. Yes. And that's why they want to keep me off. And that's fair, right? So they're just covering their asses. But like this incessant need to follow rules, I'm trying to break more and more now because, like I said, I like the idea. I think one can go overboard with it. Mm-hmm. But I like this idea of this rule makes sense. I'll follow it. Like, don't kill other humans. That makes sense to me. Like, we don't do that. That is a law for a reason. But a lot of this shit, it's just like, I don't see the point in it. And like right now, my life, a lot better if I just do this, and there is no downside that I can tell anyway as to why I shouldn't do it. And learning to walk that line, I think, is tough.
I agree with you. I think that line, like walking that line, is especially tough when you're a kid because you're trying to figure out like your own self, like who you are as a person, but then you also have all these external forces that are telling you like you got to go this way, and it's different obviously because you grew up in Germany and I grew up in the US, but that it's interesting because like if I could impart wisdom to like a younger me or a younger person, I would say, look, dude, like break the rules, right? You know, you don't have to follow the same steps that everybody followed before you. But at the same time, like you said, there is a beauty in the structure that keeps everything together.
But dude, like think about it. Like it's miraculous in a way to me that like we're both sitting here doing the same thing, having come from such different backgrounds. But I think it's for a reason. So like there's a certain rule or like a certain expectation. Like follow. A lot of people have it, whether they're mindful of it or not. Like this is what my parents expect me to do in life, right?
Yep.
Which is, and I haven't met your parents other than on FaceTime, but I'm pretty sure hip-hop artist, actor, content creator, model wasn't the package. They're like, no, do something stable, do something not like this.
That was a big fight, yeah.
So for you, it was disregarding those rules that let you here and that made you this. So great fucking choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I was, in that particular sense, lucky to have a mom who was like, you need to do what you want to do, what makes you happy. So I didn't have to develop this sense of I can, you know, fuck the rules. I was allowed to go my own path that was a lot more open. But I think that's two really great examples of like, one, how to parent, right? Because I'm personally a big, not that I have kids that I know of.
Hey-o.
Hey-o.
What's up, guys?
Screw me off. I was going to try and make a joke about your Magnum ad, but it's okay.
It's not even out yet.
Yeah, it's not even. Well, I mean, it might be by Friday. Who the fuck
never
knows? You know what won't be out either? Your dick, because of Magnums.
Hey-o.
Heyo.
It's huge.
Have safe sex. You can do it here because it's not paid for, right?
I know. It's massive.
Oh,
Just
classic
tiny.
Marcel and Dan run off into nothing. What are we even talking about?
My tiny, tiny wiener.
Oh, wow, this is the first time we went the other way.
Dude,
of
that was
exaggerating.
dude, me and I have one of my best friends. That was our bread and butter jokes. Was like tiny wiener jokes.
Tiny wiener jokes.
Tiny wiener jokes.
Yeah, you can always tell that like one friend that's like, that's so funny.
It's funny because
That's so-
the buddy who would make these jokes was known to have a fucking wrench on him. This dude was like, I was like, brother, it's even funnier that you're making these jokes because we all know that you got you're
fucking
packing.
a rig.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I think there's two lessons here, like where like for parents to like maybe be less rule oriented, like guiding a certain level of guidance rather than like telling you do this, don't do that, but also like that if you have parents that aren't that open to like what you want to do, to then fucking break the rules. Like it's don't you think it's fun that like we're so fucking different and so similar in the end?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Like that's why it made no sense to me that like you're such a nice dude. Like you're so empathetic. You're so fucking you look out for others, right? Like you in a way that little people that I've met in my life do, right? We share that. People pleasing with a negative connotation, but empathy and caring.
Yeah.
In a positive way, right?
Absolutely.
But it's something that I've struggled with a lot because I think there's on the opposite end of that spectrum is also this egotism, like just looking out after yourself. Like you're like, fuck those rules. I don't care. I want to do what I want to do because I want to do it. And like this is where I'm scarred parentally because my dad was an egomaniac. Like where he's like literally he would tell me several times in my life that I'm like, this is how the list goes. One. On the first, like, I'm going to take care of myself first. Then I'm going to take care of you, Marcel. Then there's a whole lot of nothing. Then there's my mom, like my grandma.
Yeah.
And then it was like his sister, my cousin, like they were there. But like, what kind of dad
That's nuts.
tells his son that like he comes first?
Yeah.
So obviously, like what happens with these things when parents in particular are very extreme in one way, you start being fearful of becoming like them, and then oftentimes go super into the other way, which is why I was like, I'm never going to do anything that remotely makes me look like my father in this aspect. Like, I loved him. That's not the topic, but there was a part of him that was that. And I think I've been learning to walk that balance between following the rules, which is what I do for others, and looking out for myself, which would and times entail breaking rules, but I was so careful of that because I felt like he broke so many rules. Oh wow, yeah, shit. This is probably actually much more pertaining to the episode or this topic that I knew. Like, because my dad was you. He broke all the rules, right? He used to tell me about like his wheelchair races when he was in the hospital because he fucked some up. Like my grandma was him caught him with a few friends smoking when on the playground when he was 14. Really? And she's like, do you smoke too? Because he wasn't smoking. And I was like, no, Mom, like I stopped. Fucking like, homo stopped. No, I stopped. I stopped a year ago. Fucking 14. But I also saw that like my dad died when he was 49. Didn't live to see 50. The last decade of his years, decade of his life, he was suffering from alcoholism and diabetes. It was a miserable life. And he was so fed up with the world. Like, so I think I saw what rule, like at least in this one scenario, what rule breaking and the consequences look like. Very different for you. And that I think is important to see.
No, absolutely.
And in so many ways, sorry, the four examples of like rule breaking goes good, rule breaking my dad goes bad, rule following goes well, even though with some therapy I had to like get out of my shit too. And I'm sure for a lot of people that are following the rules, they feel like they're getting fucked in the ass by life daily.
Yeah, or like
and
caught
feel
in
like
a rut.
they're caught in the rut and feel like they never get theirs and are frustrated because it's like, it's good to know in my head that like there's room for error on both sides. And just because you've done the one thing, either follow it or not, doesn't mean that that's going to set the rest of the like the path for the rest of your life. It's, you did this, but every day you get to continue making choices, even to the point of having been incarcerated. There's so many people that come out of jail a fucking changed person. There's people that end their lives in there, literally, right?
Yeah.
Like just this reminder that no matter what the fuck you choose, you still get to choose new every day.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think it's funny when you were talking about your just like the difference, like, you know, you growing up as like a rule follower because you didn't want to be like your dad, or you didn't want to, like, where like I feel like and like completely different because I feel like my parents were always super, like, they loved me so much, like that was never a question,
right?
You know, it was like, you know, we love, you're our special boy. You know, that's why you ride the short bus.
You're
on the way
so
to school.
restarted. We love you.
Yeah, we love you. That's why we pack your lunch every day, which they did. Shout out, Mom. Crazy. Like I grew up with like such a, like, they were very hard on me to follow the rules and walk that line and be in that path, but also like very much like we love you so much. Like that's why we want you to do these things. But I think like your wanting to not be like your dad was kind of my like not wanting to be this insane rule follower who had to go through this, like the same hoops and struggles that everyone else was going through.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I was always like that whenever I would butt heads with my parents, because it was a huge thing when I quit my job. When I was like, look, I need to quit this job. Like, what do you mean? You're insane. You're going to give up a steady income and all, because they, you know, whatever. It was a huge source of contention, just because they didn't understand it.
Right.
But like you said, just like, I don't know, it's just crazy how like the difference.
It's the same shit, just on, like
On a
opposite
different
color. Like
opposite, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, which is fucking
it's
wild. Yeah. I mean, I think the one thing that is generally fairly consistent with like generational shifts is that the next generation will do the opposite of the previous, right? But I think like if you take it worked for the last few generations, but I wonder, like, our kids, are you assuming, like, we both are planning on having kids down the line, right?
I'd love to.
I'm planning on raising them in a way that is putting them first, right? Mm-hmm. Like finding the balance between, like, again, guidance but also just like, this is who you are. Not the super neoliberal, like, I'm going to let my child name itself once it can speak. Shut the fuck up. Can't do that. That's extremism. Yeah, that's extremism.
I can't do that.
And like, you could be a fascist or you could be that. And I don't know which one I'd choose. Yeah. If I had to. Rough. Too far. Fucking too far. Oh my God.
Brother.
Too far. Not what I meant to say. If you want to do that, fucking do it. It's your child, I guess. It's your property until it names itself, and then it's going to fuck off anyway. Yeah. Again, not something I want to have said. Wow, someone stop me. No, but to find a balance, because I think if the assumption is they'll go opposite, right? If you have one extreme, they go to the other extreme.
Right.
But the closer you are to the center, once you have the opposite of balance, is
unbalanced.
But in theory, yes. But like, you know what I mean? Like,
I know,
if
you're skewing in the center.
If this is the mirror, right?
Right.
Like, if you from here, mirror it there. From here, mirror it there. So if you're in the center, it should, in theory, be possible to create a child that isn't rebellious, that gets to make his own choices, that are different, partially inspired by you and similar, partially inspired by you and different, where they're like, no, I don't like to do these things. But I truly want to believe that like, that's a dynasty. That's what it means, like, in my head, to create a dynasty. It's not like a Rockefeller dynasty. Like, I have a building in fucking New York, and like, we have money running through like the next 8 generations. Mm-hmm. For me, a dynasty would be like, man, that like Flores family, like anybody you meet there is like a great guy. They have a sense of who they are. I respect them on a human level. Like that's a dynasty I want to leave on this place, and that's not at all connected to the name itself because I don't give a shit about the name. But like, you know what I mean? Like that's something that would make me proud.
Absolutely. I think it's more impactful. Like I'd rather have that as well than like just have. I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. I would love a fucking.
I would love a fucking building. Also,
billionaire, sick. Yeah, dude, sign me up.
Problem with billionaires is you don't really become a billionaire if you have that attitude.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of backs you step on.
For sure. But I agree with you. I think it's just funny. I feel like if we were to like give this episode a takeaway or whatever, I feel like it's a lot of like
Dan's takeaway.
Here's Dan's takeaway. Moderation. Seriously though, like rules are made to be followed, but they are also made to be broken. You know? I think you are 100% right where there is a balance there. You like by all means, follow the rules, and by all means, break them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's
in moderation.
It's Aristotle's to get philosophical on your
Aristotle.
Aristotle.
Did you say it was total?
I keep forgetting how to say it because Aristotle is what I what I grew up. Fuck you.
I know. I'm sorry. That was me.
Foreign shaming.
No, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's me.
That's literally not even. That's just the fucking what is. You're just laughing at a German expression of thing, which wasn't he Greek?
Yeah.
Greek. So
Greek.
I'm probably that pronunciation is probably closer to what I was actually called. Anyway, I'm done fighting with you. I'm over it. We can kiss now. The golden mean, right? Like the virtue of any skill, virtue of any. All this shit I learned in German, and it's been a minute, but the idea of like virtue lies in the middle of two extremes, and that's really with anything. Like and I think that is a nice cap to like put on this, and it's fun how we ended up finding like a nice little red thread.
Yeah.
Rules.
We did it.
Fucking we did what we wanted.
Obviously, what do you guys fucking doubt? You don't think that two guys sitting at a table could put together a coherent thought?
Honestly, wow.
Just kidding. We really surprised ourselves right there. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, "Holy shit, we did! Oh my god, we did it!
I'm like, oh my god! I'm like, we got to talk a little bit more about my dad, which I think is a fun one.
Yeah.
I think unpacking dad stuff is always fun for a lot of guys out there because I feel like so many of us just push so much of that shit down and don't really talk about it because it's weird. It's not. It's not weird to me. I've done
none
this
of this
so much.
Is weird, man. It's a conversation.
It's weird in the sense that it doesn't happen a lot. Ergo weird, not normal. Ergo weird, right?
Yes.
It shouldn't be, because I think talking about the stuff and even reliving some of the memories, like the stories that he told me, and like it's nice. Like it's a weird thing to say. There's many days that go by where I don't think about my dad.
Yeah.
He passed close to a decade ago now. It's like it's been a while, but yeah, there's this beauty in just reviving him for a bit. You know what I mean? Which is really nice that happened. And then there's a little bit of that emotion coming through, and it's nice.
Absolutely.
It's weird.
I appreciate you sharing, man.
Yeah. I miss him, yeah. It's crazy how you cannot miss a person every day of your life if you just go about your normal life, but then you go back to it and you spend some time with it. But I think that's like the really nice part of mourning someone. This process of like you do the shit when after he passed, like this is for weeks on end. This is how I felt daily. All these like waves of emotion, and then they start becoming more sparse. But I think there's beauty in making them more frequent again. Anyway, I love you, Dad. He might be down there. I don't fucking know. But cool, dude. I'm glad we did this. Let us know what you guys thought. Genuinely, doing something. Let's see if this concept sticks.
Don't tell the cops anything that you've heard today because it's all a prank. Just want to
come on. You don't want to make a fool of yourself.
Yeah, come on, guys. You don't want me to find you. That's crazy. What?
We know people. Love you very much. See you.
See you next week.
See you you'll see us. We won't see you. Bye.
Later.
We need to figure this shit
I know,
out.
dude. It's real bad.
Yeah.